Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. You caught me on my day off. So hopefully I'll be a bit more relaxed this time. It's a podcast where I chat about various topics while I'm driving places, shouting at people sometimes. Usually heavily caffeinated, but I'm not actually heavily caffeinated today, so it might be a little bit more chilled. It's my day off. I've actually got the flu coming again, so thanks kids. That's one of the parts of the job of teaching. You always end up getting sick. You work with that many kids and they bring it into the workplace. You're gonna get sick. It's okay. Currently on a mission to my brother's house to drop off a hard drive because he's wiped his series hard drive, so he's borrowing mine to clone it. As you can see, the things we do on the weekend are often weird and unusual. Right, so there is a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do talk about sensitive topics. If you don't want to know about sensitive topics, please don't listen. I don't want to hurt you. If it's going to hurt your feelings, you need to make a judgment call for yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to go watch Teletubbies. It's like, I don't know what you guys get up to. It's been a while. But there is also a disclaimer because I do swear considerably and I feel very comfortable on the weekend or any day for that matter swearing. Because I have one of those old school mums that used to wash your mouth out with soap or beat the shit out of you. So I enjoy swearing now because she's not around to judge me. Try and tell her I don't judge. It's like, you judge, bitch. Right, so the topic for today is success. What is your personal view of success? Everybody's different. Mine's like, I got really simple needs and wants. I don't want anything huge. I don't want some big fucking mansion with some fucking stupid expensive car and a shit ton of stuff that I just don't really need. My needs, my version of success stems from the background I grew up with. You look at the trials and tribulations and the traumas you had growing up and you tend to think, if I can just avoid that, if I can get better than that, I think that's success. I think that's a pretty good way to look at it. And it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be, I need a Maserati, I need, billions of dollars. And you look at all these rappers with these gold and bracelets and shit like that. It's like, I got bracelets, but I'm not rich. I just know how to use money. You don't need a lot of money to be happy. People have been misled by consumer society because they assume in order to be happy you need to be well paid. Different variations of what well paid is, and there's only so much you can earn before you become a target yourself, and then you'll be unhappy again. Who was it, Biggie Smalls or something like that? Was it Tupac or was it Biggie that said more money, more problems? There's a whole song on it. So, it's a terrible way to look at things if you think that having excessive amounts of wealth is going to make you successful and happy. Some people judge success by how many people they can, I want to say hoard. Sexual slavery. No, but it's how many people they can, and notches they can put on their belt and say, this is how valuable I am because I've done this many people. I don't agree with that either. I think it's a completely stupid thing when you look at it because it puts yourself at risk. And it's not a good look, to be honest. It's really not. It shows that you've got no commitment to anything and you're willing to use people as objects because you don't see people as people at that point. You're just objectifying them, and just as easy as you pick them up, you throw them away. So it's not a good way to view yourself as successful. Plus, it's not really worth anything. I mean, how many times can you talk to a bank about, I fucked this many people, I'm valuable? It's like, yeah, but I'm not giving you a loan for a house. So it's like, nope. It's not a currency. You know what I don't understand, right? When you see all these jokes about things where it's people saying, oh, I can't pay the bill, is there somewhere other way I can pay you? And they allude to that, got to have sex with someone for money. I'm sitting there going, how is that a viable currency? I never understood that. Sex is not a viable currency unless you're a hooker, and even they use money. It's like, I never understood that. It's like, oh, I can pay the bill by sleeping with you. It's like, no. Give me the fucking rent money, asshole. So, who is valuing sex that much that you can use it as currency? Besides hookers. It's strange. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something there. It's a strange thing to look at. What is successful? First and foremost, I think you should look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs in order to judge whether you're meeting those. Before anything like mass wealth and privilege comes into play, look at whether your needs are being met on a physiological side, psychological, emotional. It's a lot easier, because if there's a hole in those needs, and I think it comes up as a pyramid in the psychological books. It's been a while since I've looked at that stuff. It comes up as a pyramid. If your base products your base needs aren't being met, then your higher up order needs will also be affected. It's like a knock-on effect. If you have, if you didn't have a good family, for example, there's a chance that later on you're not going to feel the adequate level of self-worth in order to achieve, in order to promote, quality relationships with other people. So it has a knock-on effect. Like, I know I'm stunted a bit when it comes to relationships, mainly because of things like ASD and not very affectionate family. I say family, it was my parents. Parental influences. Not very affectionate. They were very strict and they told you what to do and this is the rules you will follow, and it's very cut and dry, don't fuck around kind of thing. So when it comes to anything like project management and stuff like that, I'm pretty okay with that. But when it comes to finding the more human side of interacting with people, trying to find some softness and humanity, I had to actually find that somewhere else. My parents were not one for warmth. They've softened in old age, but I think that's because the pressure and the stress is off. And now they're just, they want us to come and visit, and it's like, you didn't really set the foundations for that. But we're trying. We're all trying to make it work. So it's not complete write-off. But in terms of, for example, their parenting style, if they were looking to promote a sense of successful, well-achieving children becoming adults, then I guess for the most part they managed it. Although it was a very roundabout way of doing it, with incredible amounts of strictness, plus violence, plus, it's like not a lot of emotional availability. And if it was emotional available, it was usually berserker. It's just strange that they came around that way to trying to get their kids to become autonomous adults. And we did become autonomous adults. My brother is a bit codependent. Actually, no, my older sister and brother are a bit codependent. My younger sister is fiercely independent, so am I. My older brother and sister are sort of beholden to their partners, which I was for a while when I was married, but at this point I'm like, no. I've survived that. I'm not doing that again. But to be presented as autonomous, successful adults, all four of us have done well. None of us have ruined our lives completely. We've always, kept shit together. I don't know whether it's through fear of consequence or a sense of trying to accomplish something, or as adults and adulting. My mom was very good at beating standards into us that were acceptable standards, that she thought we should and will adhere to. So, hence the reason was like no room to fail. I would like to believe that she was overly confident in us and not just a sadist. But it's a nice idea. She had ideas. She wanted the girls to be intensely strong in case we ever ran into a figure like my dad and had to stay with him. Realistically, what she should have done is told us how to avoid pricks like that. That's a more realistic tone. But I think the way that she saw it was like, my dad, I don't think he was upfront about who he was. And by the time she recognized what was going on, she'd already been bogged down. 4 kids and a mortgage and no way out. So she's like, right, I'm going to raise my girls to not have to deal with this shit if they do get stuck the same way I do. I don't think she had the chance to recognize the problem before it really snowballed. But in a sense, by teaching us to become independent, fiercely independent women, she set the tone for the shit we will not tolerate. And that contributed to my sense of success. It's like me setting up boundaries and standards and saying I will not tolerate this shit. As abrasive as it comes off, because other girls are taught from a nice age you have to be nice and soft and just and never have a problem in the world because you don't want to be mean. Stand up for yourself. And it's all bullshit. You need to stand up for yourself. It is nice to be civil and to be nice and kind, but you also know when to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. I'm not doing this. And I will not tolerate this if you continue to do this. You can keep doing it, just do it in my absence. I'm not going to be here for it. And you want to take those consequences, you do it on your fucking own. That's the thing. It's like, where's condition is it's girls from a young age, be nice. What's that old saying? Sugar and spice and all things nice, and boys are frogs and snails and puppy dog tails. What are they doing with the puppy dogs that you're getting the tails? It's horrible. Leave the puppy dogs alone. They don't even tell us what they're doing with the frogs and snails. It's like, you bastards. So guys are sort of set up to be quite horrible, actually, from those nursery rhymes. And girls have to be this, uniform approach of soft and sweet and let everything happen because, you've got to be nice. Otherwise, if you're not nice and you stand up for yourself to these horrible snails and frogs and puppy dogs' tails guys, you're going to ruin the image. I don't know. I came from a matriarchy. My mom was all about punching guys. Like, don't take that shit. Anyway, oh my god. My grandma was like, if you're going to hit someone, make them feel it. I'm like, thanks, grandma. It's like, don't start a fight, but if you're going to punch someone, make them fucking feel it. To the ground. Constant punching. I like to be the soft. That's my default. My default is like soft and fluffy. I like the feminine. It's less all weird and quirky because it's less energy draining. But you need to be able to also stand up for yourself. And if standing up for yourself is following projects on your own, for example, like I'm having to do, then it's and that leads to your version of success, then it's probably okay. But lots of people got different versions of success. Some people want the family, the house, and that's their version of success. Some people want the high-powered career where it goes somewhere. Some people want fame. It's all sourced from internalized or internal versions of what reality should be. Or maybe they see other people achieving these things and they've been socialized or conditioned to believe that this is what we're supposed to be aiming for. The more people who have a desire to belong or to fit in, the more they will want to reach for things that are possibly outside their goal reach, they will overstretch. So my idea of success is to be living within moderation. When people go a bit crazy because they need that $1 million or something and it turns to something incredibly unethical, like, I don't know, robbing banks or something like that, it's probably not the best version of success. I grew up in an area where there was a lot of drug dealers. Kids my age, when we were in our teens, would look at the drug dealers, not the druggies because they were like crackheads, but we'd look at the drug dealers and they'd turn up in these decent cars. I mean, it's a bit cliche, really. They turn up in the decent cars. You'd have girls from high school who all know them. And, they'd have this lifestyle where they're accepted and they've got resources. And we were broke, so we didn't have any resources. They're almost created to be heroes by kids our age. Which is probably a bit worse than things like rap culture and stuff like that. Because we got the very Caucasian version of that. If you go and look at communities in, the Bronx and places like that, it's a bit more severe than what we had. I mean, most we had was guys selling weed, ecstasy, and these days probably meth at this point. They're not really winning on the front by selling meth. The kids in my classrooms look at these people these days, less as heroes and more as assholes, but they're the product of parents who take it. So it's like they don't want to be like them anymore. They know where they are. They know where they live. I've had conversations with some of my year 6 kids in some of my schools, and they can point out houses where the crackheads live and where the druggies live. So we're good in that particular lifestyle of selling the drugs has not been passed on as a glorifiable thing. Whereas, 20 years ago, how old am I now? 39. 20, 25 years ago, we were looking at these guys going, they got money and everything. It's like, well, they don't have a problem. They don't have to go to the food banks and shit. It's like, I'm not, I'm tempted, but it'll probably end up bad. But it was a tempting idea. I had a few kids I went to high school where they used to cut up weed in their front room, and their parents were fine with it. So it was in the area, even though it was an illegal drug. They used to sell small doses of it, and it was more of a case to get by rather than to amass some kind of successful career in cocaine smuggling or some shit. So I probably wouldn't go that way in terms of success. There's always some risk to reward ratio where you have to consider what your version of success is, and is it worth going to prison for? Yeah, probably not. I'd rather just have a safe working home. Like, I came from a background where what we had was either secondhand, or we found it, or we borrowed it, or it was broken, so we got a hold of it and we had to fix it. The luxury of renting in an apartment at this point where everything is fixed and I don't have to fix anything or renovate anything is mind-boggling. That's my version of success. Not even my apartment. I'm aiming for an apartment like it, but it's not run down. It's not got asbestos in the room. There's not black mold everywhere. We have to keep treating it because it keeps coming back. It's the luxury of it. To me, that screams success, because you don't have to worry about the very basics of trying to keep your shit together. On top of that, the ability to progress through stages as well, through ceilings or social ceilings, is also a version of success, I think. Some people want to get straight to the top without putting the work in. The fact that you've got the ability in the passageways to transition through the levels is a form of success. There was a time not so long ago where people got stuck on the bottom and had to stay there. You just stayed there for life, and it was intergenerational as well. The transitional elements which are now apparent in social circles, things like education. Education is transformative. You come from a poverty background like I did. It's an amazing tool to get out of that shithole. Although it sucks at the time. Yes, I will admit it's boring. My kids in my schools are like, I fucking hate this. I don't want to do it. It's like, yes, but you need to see things long term. That is how to be successful, to look at the small thing now, the acorn nut, and think, where's it gonna go if I just put the effort into planting it? You gotta put the planting in. They're looking at this acorn in the dirt and they're going, it's not going anywhere. You gotta give it time, asshole. It's like, I want it now. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go that way. Sorry, I've got sick again. My kids make me sick. Little bastards. I know who did it too. It was a little chubby girl called Ava. Damn you, Ava. She didn't help. It's not her fault. It was her parents not keeping her home. She even had like a little mask and everything. I'm like, your parents suck, dude. But I can relate. So my parents did the same shit. But yeah, no, you got to plant that little acorn and see long term where it's going to go. Doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. What was that? It's a makeup brand or something says that. That's their motto. Won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Like the plague. Could happen overnight. What is success? Safety. My background shapes my success in that I want a safe place. I want a secure place. At the moment I'm apartment shopping, which is becoming annoying because I found out how much I hate interacting with people even more on new fronts. So you turn up to an apartment to go and check it out and see it's alright, and then like 50 people turn up and you're like, fuck this, I want to go home. I hate this shit. And I'm not one for competition either. I don't sit there and haggle and shit. If I see a number, I'll be like, yeah, right. It's that number for a reason, right? I don't know. And I got like my mortgage guy sitting there going, you gotta ask for like 15% under or some shit. I'm going, why? It's that number for a reason, right? It's like, you gotta haggle. I'm like, my very British sensibilities are like, we don't haggle. No, we don't. It's rude. Meanwhile, all these assholes that have been to Bali are like, let's haggle. I'm like, no, I don't haggle. I don't like it. I'll just find something else. But I really do need to develop that. I don't like the confrontational situation. I don't like it. I don't like confrontation, dude. I spent the first 30 odd years in chaos. I just want things to be nice. So I got to work on my skills when it comes to bartering. I don't know. That will help my success, I guess. But no, like 50 people turn up and I'm looking around going, shit. But no, it's interesting to watch. You got to work on your skills if you want to be successful as well. Don't just sit on your ass and assume that you're going to be okay. It's human arrogance to assume that everything will go your way, or that anything will go your way. You've got to put the work in. Load those dice if you can. Work towards it. I'm not saying outright cheat. I am saying weight the odds in your favor if you can, which is a bit underhanded, I think. But at the same time, if you know you put the work in to develop skills that you need for a particular job set, and maybe even go a little bit further, and it might work for you, then you should. Don't just assume. Like I walked out of uni with a bachelor's in education. I assumed I'd walk straight into a job, because the thing was, when we were all training, they were saying there's a shortage of teachers. There's a shortage of teachers now, but for different reasons, because we've all recognised that it's a bit of a shit job. But I assumed I've got the degree, I'll get a job straight off the bat, it'd be fine. And I didn't. I had to wait like 5 years or so just to get a full-time position, a contract at all. And it was based on a lot more factors than just I got a degree, I've got the credentials, I'm fine to go. It was also based on what experience they want, to know that you are familiar with the classroom scenarios, context. It's tacit knowledge of the job. That you might know someone. I didn't understand the nepotism behind it as well. That still to this day bugs me. It's the I know a guy mentality, because it's not helpful at all. It's like, you might know a guy, but are they qualified? That's the catch. But there's a lot of that in the workplace. I know a guy that can do this position. It's like, can they, or is that your opinion of that person doing the job? With a lack of credentials or qualifications. What is he doing? Oh, it's a he. Okay. I don't like that version of success. That to me isn't successful. That feels like cheating, where you've got a job or you've got a position, but you've got it because not because you've shown the skill sets and demonstrated it, because someone knew you and gave it to you because they're friendly with you. That bugs the fuck out of me. I think, to be honest, if you're going to take any kind of position, you should earn it. I think that's the way we always should be doing it. It's a meritocracy, but no one seems to be working hard to be what they need to be for that position. And if we do exist in that meritocracy, then at the same time, people will be more competitive and willing to do harder and better for their job, to take on more qualifications, to make sure they get that position, be able to keep that position. Instead, we've got dickheads saying, I know a guy. It's like, no, he didn't earn that position. You don't get the job. I don't give a fuck if you know a guy. That bugs the shit out of me. I hate cronyism and nepotism. I hate it. I hate it with a fucking passion. Because all it is it's blagging. It's lying for someone to get ahead in hopes that they will cover your ass later on. It's selfish. And guaranteed, near enough guaranteed, they'll fuck up the job. Because they're not for it. That's not their job. A lot of the times people get employed, they know a guy, and then they want that control over the workplace, so they'll fill the workplace with a bunch of guys they know. Not that it can do the fucking job, but they'll just fill it with a bunch of guys they know because they're all friends and they have control and have something over their head. It's like, I found you this position, you have to do what I say, or you should do what I say, otherwise I'll have you fired. And that's how businesses fail. It's like, because you didn't actually get anyone who's qualified for the job. That's how you get an unsuccessful business. Successful business is recognizing the traits needed for the position and the context and actually filling them based on whether they have proven they can do those things. Rather than, I know a guy. Fuck your guy. Get me a real person that does the job, knows the job, inside and out, can do it under pressure. I don't want to fucking know about your guy. It's like, fuckwits. Anyway, how to be successful in life. I'm nearly at my brother's house now. How to be successful in life. Do no harm. Keep clean. High morals. And I'm not just talking about traditionalist sense of morals where everybody's doing it so we have to do it, otherwise we're going to be kicked out of the group. I'm talking about ethical morals considered consequence of what my actions will do. Will it be good? Could I live with it? What shit am I letting slip just because everybody else is doing it? And so if I don't do it, you know, I'm going to be kicked out of the group or frowned upon. Oh no, mass frowning. You got to consider all those kind of shit. What else? Live healthy. I know everybody hates lettuce or something like that. There's always, like, kale is my kryptonite. I hate that shit. And silver beet. I fucking hate silver beet. But it is good for you. In order to be successful, you can't have a body that's run down and broken because you're treated like shit. You look at all the top executives in Wall Street and stuff like that. The ones that tend to go under, that have the most stress, will eat the most shit. They go under pretty easily. They're always sick and they're always trying to pull through, and then have this fucking life crisis and a heart attack, usually dying young from the heart attack, because they have all these massive, like, lunch dinners, meetings, and they eat shit. And it's a high stress job, and often they smoke, or they go out for beers to network and shit like that. And these people who are making the most money, possibly, often treat their body like shit, and that's how they go down under early from heart attacks and cancer and stuff like that. It's high stress, bad lifestyle, you die young. You don't even get to live to enjoy your money because, you know, it's not really successful if you don't live long enough to see the ends of it. Unless, of course, you're their wife or something and you benefit quite a bit from them dying young. It's like, so if you're a rich stock market guy, just watch out for those women. They've got motive. They know what's coming. So you got to be careful of that. Like, I know my body I have to look after, because if I don't look after it, I'm not going to be able to look after the kids. I'm not going to be able to hold my position because I'll constantly be taking days off work and stuff like that. And as a relief teacher, if you don't work, you don't eat. You don't get holiday pay. You need to be there, you need to be clean. So I need to take all my tablets in the morning, all my green stuff, my protein, live pretty healthy, don't eat shit, don't smoke. I don't do all the crap that would be presented as a bad role model to my kids, because I want to, with a clean conscience, if they ever ask me if I smoke or drink or anything like that, I want to say no. Because I don't want to set that kind of tone where I say it's okay to do weed or it's okay to smoke, or, you know, I don't want to. I live through my example. I don't want to lie to my kids. I don't like it. That feels inauthentic. Wee, roundabout. Wee. Oh, I love days off. Anyway, yeah, so living authentically as well is part of my definition of success. You don't want to feel like you're lying to everyone. Like, I used to try and sell Mary Kay. Back when I was doing one of my money-making schemes, I was thinking, yeah, fuck it, I can sell Mary Kay. It's like Avon. I also wanted to learn how to put on makeup and stuff like that. And they tend to teach you as you go because you need to know how to use the product. It's a complete pyramid scheme, by the way. Dumb. You spend more money on the product than you do selling the fucking thing. And they try to entice you with these little gamified tokens of like bee brooches and shit like that. If you sell $1,000 worth of this, you can have this little fucking brooch that we found somewhere in an op shop. It always looks like some shit they found in an op shop. It's like, why would I want that? I want the money. It's a business. I don't want a fucking token. Oh, but it's a token of appreciation from us. It's like, I know this is a pyramid scheme and you take 10% of everything I make, so just fuck off. At least be truthful. But I was trying to sell that and I felt like absolute shit selling it, because it was overpriced. And I'm looking at the prices going, I wouldn't even buy this shit. I didn't believe in the product. And so that, business idea of mine went under quite quick because it felt inauthentic. I felt like I was conning people while I was selling it. I'm going, I don't believe in this product. The prices are overdone. It's not a great product anyway. You are cashing in on the name, and it's not a great product, and you are, filling someone else's pocket by proxy. I didn't like that either. I'm sitting going, if I want a business, I want it to be my business. I don't want to be working for someone else. I mean, you got a chunk of the proceeds, but at the same time, it's just a job for someone else. And I was looking at these other girls in their 20s and stuff, like they're all housewives and shit. I'm going, well, you already got someone to back your income. You're already married to a guy who's like FIFO or sort of shit. I never got a chance to have that kind of financial backing because my ex-husband wanted to be a personal trainer and they earned fuck all. So it was a case of me trying to work full time and run this Mary Kay shit and some other stuff I had running in the background as well. And it just went under because I didn't believe in it. I didn't like it. It didn't feel like it was going to be successful because it was someone else's success. I was just a sort of pawn in their business. Or they hype you up as well. It's like, you're wonderful, you've got this certificate, you sold this much, and oh, here's a B pin, and you're like, yay. Which is essentially a participation medal. So I fucking hated that business. I was like, I don't like this at all. It doesn't feel ethical. I feel like I'm lying to them. And I feel like I'm bullshitting them. So I chucked that one under quite quickly. I'm like, I don't like this at all. But, in order to have my own successful version of business, I do have 3 online stores that I am running. They are not my main meat of income, but at the same time, it's better than chasing someone else's business. I'm probably going on a tangent with that one, actually. So, how can I sum this up? Because I am at my brother's house. How to be successful in life? Just be a fucking good person. Just be a good person. Stop looking for the quick and easy way out. Use your ethics. You know what's wrong and right. We've all been, what's wrong and right. You know what's not going to feel right. Consider what other people would feel, and that's empathy, if you did something to them, if you got that back. Consider what that would feel. I mean, reach for goals, but make sure they're within range goals, not just outlandish shit that you're trying to replicate because someone else is getting attention because they're doing it. There is that element of dream big or go big or go home, but at the same time, consider what assets you actually have in your proximity. I'm not saying just under reach. I'm also saying reach within reason, moderation. Don't try and kill yourself trying to achieve someone else's dream who's already had a head start, and there's all kinds of extra shit that you just don't see. And you're killing yourself. It's not the same. I mean, if you are going the financial route where you want big bucks and things like that, is consider how much you're actually putting in energy-wise. Is it killing you? Is it worth the stress and the torment just to say, I have this expensive car, which could easily be wiped out? And it might be insured, but it's just totaled. just to say you have it. It's these things are so easy to just lose. To place your version of success on a monetary, level, it's ridiculous. Success should be, are you happy with yourself and what you're doing? It should be an internalized kind of thing and not reliant on external validation. It should be, are you happy with you? Are these your goals? Is it aligned with your ethics and morals? Is your internal alignment where it needs to be? Or have you inflated it to deal with someone else's ego, or to assume to other people that you're gonna, or to show other people that you're better than them? It's ego getting involved there is just terrible. It's shallow and it's empty, and trying to appease other people or to appeal to other people who are in themselves shallow, it's probably not the best way forward to be successful. So keep it ethical, I guess. I'm gonna have to leave it there. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday. Saturday, I'm losing track of days. Take it easy, and I'll try to do a podcast next week. I think I've got quite a few lined up, actually, because I'm doing all long distance. Okay, and I'll see you later.